It's November 26, 2025, and across Canada, the calendar says late autumn, but the weather outside tells a very different story. Instead of the usual crisp air and lingering fall colors, Canadians are waking up to a world transformed overnight. Winter has slammed into the nation with a force and intensity more typical of the deep heart of January than the tail end of November. Cities from coast to coast are experiencing blizzard conditions, with heavy snow piling up on sidewalks, roads, and rooftops, leaving many residents stunned by the sudden change. From the towering peaks of the Rockies to the icy shores of the Great Lakes, frigid temperatures and relentless snowfall have caught entire communities off guard. Small towns and big cities alike are scrambling to adapt, as snowplows work overtime and emergency crews respond to a surge in weather-related incidents. For many, the abrupt arrival of winter has meant a rapid shift in daily routines, with schools closing, travel plans disrupted, and families hunkering down indoors. Residents are digging out from drifts that reach up to their knees, bracing themselves against biting Arctic winds that cut through even the thickest winter coats. The familiar reds and golds of autumn have vanished almost overnight, replaced by a stark, unbroken blanket of white. For many, the suddenness of the change is as jarring as the cold itself. This unseasonably early winter is the direct result of a major atmospheric event, a powerful disruption of the polar vortex. This rare phenomenon has unleashed a surge of Arctic air, pushing it far south of its usual boundaries, and plunging much of Canada into a deep freeze weeks ahead of schedule. Meteorologists say the scale and speed of this event are highly unusual, and it's already breaking records for both temperature and snowfall. Weather experts are warning that this could be just the beginning. The early arrival of such intense cold and snow may signal the start of a long, challenging winter for millions of Canadians. Every region, from the Prairies to the Atlantic coast, is likely to feel the effects, with forecasts calling for continued cold snaps and more storms on the horizon. Families are being urged to prepare their homes, stock up on essentials, and stay informed as the situation develops. As the cold front pushes steadily eastward, Canadians everywhere are being reminded of the power and unpredictability of nature. With winter arriving earlier and fiercer than anyone expected, communities across the country are coming together to face what could be a historic start to the season, one that will be remembered for years to come. The polar vortex, a vast spinning mass of frigid air high in the stratosphere, acts as a kind of invisible barrier, separating the planet's coldest air from the milder regions to the south. This swirling system is a fundamental part of our planet's climate engine, and its behavior can have dramatic consequences for weather patterns across the northern hemisphere. Most of the time, the polar vortex stays locked over the Arctic, held in place by the powerful jet stream, a fast-moving river of air that circles the globe. This jet stream acts like a fence, keeping the coldest air bottled up near the pole and shielding much of North America from its harshest effects. But the polar vortex isn't always stable. When it's disrupted by sudden stratospheric warming events or shifts in atmospheric pressure, it can wobble and stretch, sending tendrils of Arctic air plunging far to the south. That's exactly what's happening now, as the vortex loses its grip and allows frigid air to spill into North America, bringing with it a wave of extreme cold. This breakdown in the polar vortex has forced the jet stream to dip dramatically, pushing it far south of its usual path. As a result, the Canadian prairies are now experiencing temperatures and conditions more typical of the high Arctic. Bitter cold, relentless winds, and snow that seems never-ending. It's important to understand that the polar vortex isn't a storm in the traditional sense. Instead, it's a persistent, high-altitude circulation that can shape our weather for weeks, even months, at a time. Its influence extends far beyond a single cold snap, affecting everything from snowfall totals to the frequency of blizzards. Right now, the instability of the polar vortex is fueling a series of sustained cold outbreaks and heavy snowfalls. This isn't just a brief chill, it's a prolonged event, with Sanderba of Romerver, Iderramer Bretts, Auerger, Phoberitic air and snowstorms battering communities across the region. The consequences are serious. Dangerous wind chills that can cause frostbite in minutes, blizzard conditions that make travel treacherous, and a stubborn weather pattern that refuses to let up. For many, This means weeks of bracing against the elements and adapting to a new, harsher reality. Understanding the dynamics behind this shift is crucial. This isn't just another cold front passing through, it's a major atmospheric event, a fundamental change in the way air masses are moving around the globe. Meteorologists are closely monitoring the situation, as the impacts could last well into the season. As the Arctic's icy grip tightens, Canadians must prepare for a relentless winter, one shaped not by ordinary weather, but by the powerful and unpredictable forces at work high above the Earth. The polar vortex's disruption is being driven by a rare sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW, a rapid temperature spike in the stratosphere above the Arctic. This year's SSW is one of the earliest on record, destabilizing the polar vortex and sending frigid air southward. The warming high above paradoxically triggers the intense cold we feel on the ground, as the jet stream warps and Arctic air pours into Canada. The effects of a major SSW can linger for weeks, locking in a persistent cold pattern. Meteorologists warn that the current blast is just the beginning. December could bring even harsher, more sustained cold. Canadians should prepare for a long, challenging winter as this pattern continues to evolve. Western Canada and the Prairies are at the heart of this Arctic outbreak, enduring bone-chilling temperatures, dangerous wind chills, and heavy blowing snow. Cities like Saskatoon, Regina, and Winnipeg face wind chills near -40, where exposed skin can freeze in minutes. Blizzard-like conditions and near-zero visibility have made travel perilous, prompting authorities to urge residents to stay off the roads. Emergency crews are working non-stop to clear roads and restore power as communities struggle with outages and hazardous conditions. This is no ordinary cold snap. It's a severe, prolonged event testing the resilience of even the most winter-hardened Canadians. The West's experience is a stark reminder. Preparedness is essential as winter's full force arrives early. The Arctic air is now advancing east, putting northern Ontario on high alert for heavy snow, plunging temperatures and hazardous travel. Southern Ontario and Quebec are on the edge of the cold, facing wild temperature swings and messy storms with snow, ice pellets, and freezing rain. The Great Lakes will fuel intense lake-effect snow squalls, threatening to bury communities downwind. Meteorologists warn that any mild spells will be brief. The deep cold is expected to settle in across the east as December progresses. Now is the time for residents to prepare, insulate homes, stock emergency kits, and equip vehicles for winter. The current calm is only a prelude. A sustained cold pattern is on the way. From Toronto to Halifax, vigilance and preparation are crucial for the frigid weeks ahead. It's not just the cold, it's the deadly mix of wind, snow, and plummeting temperatures that creates the greatest hazards. Wind chills in the -40 to -50 range can cause frostbite in minutes, while heavy snow reduces visibility and strains infrastructure. Blowing snow creates whiteouts and massive drifts, isolating communities and making travel treacherous. The Great Lakes add another threat. As Arctic air passes over open water, it fuels relentless lake-effect snow squalls, burying regions for days. In these conditions, outdoor activities should be minimized, and proper winter gear, layers, hats, gloves, and boots is essential for survival. Communities in Ontario's snowbelts could see staggering accumulations, overwhelming snow removal efforts. This dangerous combination demands caution, preparation, and a shift in daily routines. Survival depends on respecting the risks and staying informed. All signs point to a prolonged siege of winter weather, not just a brief cold snap. The sudden stratospheric warming has set in motion a pattern expected to last through December, with the polar vortex remaining displaced and sending repeated waves of Arctic air south. Even regions, now seeing temperature swings, will likely face a deep, persistent freeze as the month progresses. This will strain infrastructure, challenge communities, and test individual resilience, mentally and physically. Experts agree, brief thaws may occur, but the dominant theme will be cold, potentially impacting holiday plans and travel. Staying informed and prepared is crucial as winter's grip tightens. Canadians must brace for a winter that's arrived early and intends to stay. Severe winter weather makes travel one of the greatest dangers. Snow, ice, and blizzard conditions can turn even a short drive into a life-threatening ordeal. Every year, countless accidents and emergencies occur because drivers underestimate the risks posed by winter storms and icy roads. That's why authorities urge everyone to avoid non-essential trips. If you can stay home, do so. Roads may look passable, but hidden ice and sudden whiteouts can catch even experienced drivers off guard. If you absolutely must travel, take time to prepare. Make sure your vehicle is winter-ready, fill your gas tank, check your battery, and install winter tires for better traction. Keep windshield washer fluid topped up, and ensure your wipers are in good condition. Pack a survival kit with blankets, food, water, a flashlight, and extra warm clothing. Include a shovel, ice scraper, and sand or kitty litter for traction. These supplies can be life-saving if you become stranded. On the road, drive slowly and increase your following distance. Bridges and overpasses freeze first and can be especially treacherous, as can shaded areas where ice lingers even after the sun comes out. Before you leave, clear all snow and ice from your vehicle, including the roof, hood, and all windows, to ensure maximum visibility and prevent snow from blowing onto other drivers. Always let someone know your planned route and expected arrival time. This simple step can speed up rescue efforts if you run into trouble. Check the latest weather forecasts and road conditions before you leave. Conditions can change rapidly, so stay informed right up to your departure. Use only official sources for updates. Government websites, weather apps, and local news are your best resources for accurate, up-to-date information. If conditions worsen while you're on the road, don't hesitate to pull over, safely, and wait it out. It's far safer to delay your journey than to risk an accident in poor visibility or on icy pavement. Never try to push through a whiteout. Visibility can drop to 0 in seconds, making it impossible to see hazards or other vehicles. If you become stranded, stay with your vehicle. It provides shelter from the cold and is much easier for rescuers to spot than a person on foot. Your car is your best chance of being found quickly and safely. Run the engine occasionally for warmth, but keep a window cracked and clear snow from the exhaust to prevent carbon monoxide buildup. With smart preparation, caution, and respect for winter's dangers, you can help ensure that every journey ends safely, even when the weather is at its worst. As this severe winter unfolds, the top priority is safety and preparedness. Stay informed with local forecasts and heed all warnings and advisories from authorities. At home, ensure heating systems work, protect pipes, and have a 72-hour emergency kit ready. Check on vulnerable neighbors and relatives, and bring pets indoors. Limit outdoor exposure, dress in layers, and cover all skin to prevent frostbite. Community vigilance and mutual support are vital to weathering this harsh season. With respect, preparation, and care for one another, Canadians can face this formidable winter together.